Let's get started. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to our monthly product demo webinar series. We'll have these demos every month at 11 a.m. Pacific, and all will be recorded. I'm Shri Sheth, and I'll be your moderator today for this very well-attended product demo. It will cover the basics of the product, including interactive playbooks, a live run of one of our playbooks, and a demonstration of one of our hundreds of integrations. Just a few housekeeping items to cover before we begin. As many of you may know, if you have any questions, type them in the right-hand area of the webinar platform, and we will address as many as time permits. We are recording this session, and we will send you the slides and the link to the recording by this Friday. We're going to make it a conversational webinar, so as questions arise, we'll try to address them on the spot. And with all those details out of the way, I would like to introduce our speaker, Pramukh Ganeshamurthy. Pramukh serves as our technical marketing manager. In his free time, he likes to read books and hike in one of our many county parks in California. All right, with that, take it away, Pramukh.
Thanks, Shri. So welcome, everybody, and thanks for your time. So for the sake of interest of time, so I'll start with listing some of the challenges in today's security operations centers and how Demisto is solving it today. And then I'll switch over to demo and take up questions at the end. So let's get started. So Security Operations Center, as we have seen in the past decade, has been a central place to bring all the people, process, and technology to tackle the security threats with the help of incident response processes. But with the advent of time and multiple point products into the network and the enterprise being segmented and segregated and distributed eventually, we see a lot of growing alerts, and on an average we have 10,000 plus alerts per week coming from multiple point products. So this obvious is number one challenge for any SOC operations to reach the MTTR, which is the mean time to resolution, on time. One of the other challenges obviously is to find the skilled analysts and also to protect their productive time, because a lot of productive time is lost today by tackling all these growing alerts, and most of which is false positives. So top two challenges being growing alerts and the lack of skilled analysts. And last but not the least is lack of consistent process. There are a lot of SOC which roll out something called incident response process as part of their overall SOC process, but there is no consistency across the board. And a lot of time and resource and energy is lost when an incident takes place. So there's no metrics, there's no way to track the SLAs, and this again brings down the overall efficiency of any security operations center. And eventually, what does it mean for the business and the enterprise overall? It simply means longer time to resolution and really increasing the business risk multiple challenges that we saw much ahead of time, and Demisto is solving it in unique ways that I will explain in coming slides. So definitely a new model was needed with the past decade experiencing a lot of SOC challenges. So what's the new unique approach that Demisto took? So we saw this problem ahead of time and brought in a platform for the Security Operations Center to provide complete case management coupled with automation and orchestration, as well as collaboration and learning. So all these three are top pillars of Demisto, which is a SOAR platform, and we cater to all the missing gaps and trying to bridge the gaps to really increase the efficiency of security operations today. So speaking of case management, as we talked about the incident response process, we really required capability to provide to the analysts to track SLAs, metrics, and also reach to the security goals in a cohesive manner. So Demisto provides that capability, everything built into the platform in the form of end-to-end case management. Automation and orchestration being the center core pillar and piece of Demisto. Meaning Demisto provides playbooks, which are nothing but a series of tasks to automate analyst actions. And when I say automate, it's basically a combination of whether you want to automate the entire process or we also want to have human analyst components, because in most of the incident response process, it's paramount to have different escalation levels and also vetting by different levels of analysts. So this automation encompasses all these processes across the board. And this basically increases efficiency and leverage existing investments into the SOC. Speaking of orchestration, as we saw in the past decade, there have been multiple point products, and these products generate a lot of events and incidents, most of them being false positives. So Demisto basically ingests incidents and alerts from these products, but also orchestrates across these products, including products hosted in the cloud and AWS, in order to make analysts' life easier. So this really saves a lot of analysts' time in terms of not having to really go across multiple change management process to get access to different products to take effective actions. So automation and orchestration, as you will see in the demo, is a center and core piece of Demisto. Lastly, but not the least, is the collaboration and learning piece. SOC analysts spend a lot of time investigating the incidents, making a lot of research and changes to the systems, and taking actions. So overall, what's really key to any SOC, given the growing threat landscape and increasing challenges, is to really learn from what has been done in the past in terms of actions. So Demisto provides something called War Room, which is nothing but a central repository of all the analyst actions taken in the past across the incidents, and having it as a reference point to learn and collaborate within the platform with other team members. So Demisto really makes it easy for analysts sitting across geographies or within the same SOC to really switch to different team members to seek help or pull other team leads or SMEs, subject matter experts, into an active investigation and to perform quick response actions. So these are the three core pieces that Demisto is really a leader in today to solve the SOC security problems of the SOC. This really leads to a reduced MTTR. So what it takes typically 2 to 3 hours today, Demisto does it within a couple of minutes, as we'll see in the demo. And for the business, it obviously means reducing operational risk by multitudes. So how does Demisto do it? So Demisto has one of the largest extensible integrations with almost all the security products, as well as cloud platforms like AWS. So we have hundreds of extensible integration built into Demisto in the form of integrations ready to get started for the analyst to plug and play. Demisto automates playbooks, so we have 40 plus built-in playbooks that comes out of the box, as well as there is a good capability to customize the playbooks, create own playbooks, copy the existing system default playbooks and reuse it. So these playbooks really help analysts to quickly get started for the response actions. And there are thousands plus security actions that Demisto has actually built into the system, as you'll see in the demo. And security analysts really can save time by simply getting those actions into the play. Secondly, the incident management piece that's really broken today. So Demisto really provides a process into an existing SOC in terms of getting the SLA and metrics to be easily tracked and viewed from the dashboard and into the whole process itself. This also makes it very easy to collect the evidences and to journal it. So there is an evidence room capability that you will see in the demo. You can actually easily click on each pieces of evidence and get it into a central repository. And this also eventually helps meet the regulatory mandates and compliance, because you already have these crucial evidences and chain of custody right into the platform, and you can quickly take a report and show it to the compliance folks. Real-time interactive investigation. So this is something which has been core of any SOC again, to be able to do interactive investigation by collaborating with other team members in real time. So Demisto has this chat ops capability with Dbot, which is the machine learning algorithm that runs in the background for real-time interactive investigation. So the team members, the SOC analysts, can actively use Dbot's help that that suggests in real time, makes suggestions for indicators, makes suggestions for experts, and so on and so forth, and quickly take action. And all this gets auto-documented for all future investigation reference as well as the current actions. So a little bit more about the DBOT capability, what we call as force multiplier for the analysts. So DBOT is nothing but a bunch of machine learning algorithms that runs in the background. And one of the ways Demisto's DBOT is really differentiated in the industry is its unique capability to learn from the analyst actions. So this is one of the first of its kind to really be able to learn in real time of analyst actions and also actively make suggestion to other analysts for future incident assignment and actions. So DBOT can help in identifying experts for different kind of incidents, can actually suggest different products and commands in order to solve the incident, resolve the incidents, as well as make related and duplicate incidents really be able to be easily identified by the analysts, bringing down the whole inefficiencies and increasing the efficiency across the board. We do have Demisto Community that will speak once we are done with the demo. So it's really 3,900 plus security experts across worldwide. We do have open source integrations and automations, and the whole playbook standard itself has been open sourced. And please feel free to join this growing community, and we'll be very glad to help you out. We do have free help on our Slack. So you can feel free to join the Slack and contribute and learn as well. So now let's quickly jump on to the demo. Hope everybody can see the screen. So this is the Demisto single UI interface. So the whole product itself is a single web page UI, as you can see, making it extremely easy for anybody to really work with the product itself. So let's get started with the settings page. So as you can see, Demisto comes with hundreds of built-in integrations. So integrations in Demisto are nothing but connections with a whole bunch of security products to ingest as well as orchestrate across those products. So integrations in Demisto are built on APIs which expose commands. And let's take an example of ArcSight ESM, one of the well-known SIEMs. So clicking on this commands shows me all the list of commands that are exposed through this integration. So add new entries, creates new entries to the active list, deletes a case, clear entries, clears all the entries. You can get all the cases, get all the queries, the matrix data, security events, and so on and so forth. And Demisto, as I mentioned, comes with hundreds of built-in integrations, and these are spread across different category of products, not just analytics and SIEM. You have authentication products, case management products, data enrichment, threat intelligence, database, email gateway endpoint, network security, threat intelligence sources, which is very crucial to ingest for all the threat intelligence capabilities, as well as vulnerability management. We also have integrations with AWS, which is really keyless, making it very secure. And each of these integrations provides the admins in a SOC a quick capability to plug and play with their existing products. So all they have to do is to click on this add instance and provide the name, server URL, port, credentials, if it's API keys, and also this wizard helps in identifying the incident types, which can be selected during this course of initiating an instance into an integration. So this really makes it very easy to get started with your own existing products. Even if you have like 30 plus different vendor products, Demisto supports it, and the admins are very easily can actually get started with plug and play. So this is really the starting point of getting all the incidents in the form of all the incidents and alerts in the form of incidents into Demisto. So coming back to the incidents page real quick. So what you see on the screen is all the list of incidents in Demisto. So all the alerts, post verifying, I mean, getting all the false positives into a site.
Actually, real quick, we have a question. So before we move on to this, if we can go back to the integration page, there's a question asking what the BYOI is.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So BYOI is Demisto's capability to help SOC security operations centers bring their own integrations into place. So many times what happens is there are products, custom products, which are built into the, I mean, which are not commercially available, and the admins would like to integrate that with Demisto. So BYOI is a capability, is basically a wizard that Demisto provides to bring your own integration into Demisto. So
build your own integration is what we like to call it.
Exactly. So this is basically a bunch of steps, basically entering your parameters, commands, and scripts. We support Python and JavaScript, and you can actually do everything from within the platform. I think that's the core capability. We also have the script helper, all built within the system. So you can actually refer to this and get started building your own integrations. Cool. So on the same note, we also have the integrations that we ship built in out of the box, exposed. So they're all open source. You can click on this I command and actually go through the code and reuse it. So we provide the flexibility to copy and edit all these integrations if you want to bring more commands and more tighter integrations into place.
So on a similar note, how about feeding out from Demisto to other products?
Sure, yeah, that's the orchestration piece of it. So as I mentioned, Demisto not just ingests the alerts from third-party products, but also orchestrates into the product. So there are a whole bunch of actions that you can take in terms of setting flags or changing any particular parameters in the other products based on an analyst action decision. So pretty much possible in Demisto.
Cool, thanks, Pramuk.
Sure. So going back to the incidents page, so all the alerts that a SOC generates, minus the false positives, I would say becomes an incident in Demisto. So most of these incidents that we highly recommend for the security operations team are basically false negatives, which is real true incidents that has to be worked upon. So Demisto's capability, as I mentioned, is to really bridge the gap in terms of bringing cohesive incident management process. So each of these incidents that you see have an ID, name, type, severity, status, owner, the playbooks associated with these incidents, when did they occur, what is the SLA as I mentioned, and what is the run status. And as you can see, we can actually populate with a whole bunch of other settings as well, but I have kept it really short to focus because different analysts have different styles of approaching an incident. So Demisto brings in that flexibility. And some of the machine learning capabilities I had mentioned, clicking on a particular incident and hitting on this assign, as you can see, dbot makes a suggestion of who are the core experts, so to speak, who have worked before on these incidents in the SOC, who can actually act on these incidents. So I can go ahead and click on Nilima, for instance, because dbot made that suggestion, meaning that the analyst Nilima had actually worked on these kind of phishing incidents in the past. So it would be a good analyst to actually handhold this particular incident. Similarly, I can go to the incidents by from here. I can edit an incident, mark it as duplicate. If I see multiple incidents of the same type, I can run a command on that particular incident, as well as export it, close it, and delete it. So that's the core. Almost all these basic nitty-gritty actions are on a specific incident is available right from the UI. Also, a thing that I forgot to mention before is this unique search capability. So searching in Demisto is extremely flexible and powerful. So I can actually click on an ID and based on operators and fields, I can make a quick search right here. And the same search can be depicted in a visual form. If you see, I have made it severity over here, but I can actually choose to make it of different type. I can see it based on the ownership, based on the status, SLA, closure reason, and whole bunch of fields. So almost everything is slice and dice, as we call it. So it's on your fingertips. So it really makes it very intuitive and quick for the analysts, for anybody pretty much working on the security operations team to view the incidents.
Cool. Real quick, we have a couple questions. Just wanted to get these in. So, is there any alert normalization capabilities across different alert sources to assess all on the same severity scale?
Sure. Yeah. So, so most of these incidents that come into Demisto initially carry the severity level of the point products from where we ingested those alerts, which becomes incidents eventually in Demisto. But Demisto does provide a capability to assign your own score or severity level, as we call, because most of the security operations center do have their own standards. So we can actually, so Demisto does provide a capability to get a different whole bunch of uniform severity level across the board for all these incidents. So that falls under the classification and mapping capability. So it's something, a different concept altogether. I would love to speak more about it, but in the interest of time, I'll take it offline definitely. So, but that is something we do have in the feature.
Thanks, Pramuk. We have another question here. So how can we automate the analysis of phishing emails that are submitted to an email box?
Sure. So that's something, a very good question. And Demisto provides this ingestion capability to fetch all these emails, including the raw emails, into Demisto as incidents. So these incidents are nothing but all the email, including the raw file, the subject, go-to fields, and including all the URLs, if at all any, for especially the phishing emails, into Demisto. And we can associate a playbook, as you can see right on the screen. And Demisto does have a built-in phishing investigation playbook, by the way, so we can actually associate with it and automate it. So that's pretty much answers. Yeah.
Cool. We have a couple more questions. Oh goodness. Let's see.
Sure. Happy to take that.
Is it possible to replace Threat Intel platform with Demisto and feed TI feeds directly to Demisto?
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that because Demisto is not really a full-fledged threat intelligence platform at this point. So Demisto does depend on other third-party threat intelligence sources and commercial products out there. So we do have integrations with that. So we don't recommend that at this point. But having said that, we do have capability to incorporate the sticks files and create your own rules, feed your own threat intelligence. So we have this indicators page real quick, which provides all the indicators, file, MD5, SHA-256, IP, URL. Having said that, but we wouldn't really recommend to use Demisto as a replacement for threat intelligence platform. But definitely, one thing I would highly recommend is Demisto can become a layer on top of threat intelligence because the DBot fetches threat intelligence from multiple security products. Because what we see in the industry is most of these security products have their own threat intels. So DBot correlates all those threat intelligence and presents it to analysts at the end of the day to make decisions.
So we have a follow-up. So once we validate the email is once we validate that the email is phishing, automate the posting of an alert to a site which is ran on WordPress or Drupal. Okay, so this is something I'll have to check and revert back because we can pretty much do it as long as there is a capability in terms of API to post it. So I'll actually walk you through the playbooks and the tasks and the way that playbooks are run. So I think that should help, but I'll get back to you. Sounds good. Let's move on to playbooks so we can show you guys a live run of one, and then happy to answer all these questions along the way as well.
Sure. So clicking on this incident makes it an investigation in Demisto. So let's take one of the incidents that I have here. So this is an kill chain progression exploit to beacon host on a particular machine. So as you can see, any incident in Demisto becomes an investigation upon clicking it. And Demisto has the 6 sections as part of its investigation. The first one being obviously the summary page where we show all these information end to end pretty much about this incident. When was it created, type, severity, owner, findings, timeline, all the suspicious indicators found as part of that investigation incident. You also have the SLA right here. When did it occur? How much time did it accumulate so far to investigate this particular incident? And if there are at all any custom fields, we do show that along with other deep dive details. Then we have a concept of war room that I mentioned in the past. So war room is nothing but a common repository where analysts can not just see all the commands that got executed as part of the playbook, but also do their own investigation by running commands from the CLI. So if you see at the bottom, this is basically the CLI, and it has its own markdown language. And by hitting the bang command, I can actually call different scripts or different commands right from the CLI. So let's see IP. If I want to check an IP reputation and more details, let's say 8.8.8, and hit enter, it will actually show me all the information about that particular IP. So and similarly, we have this work plan. So work plan is the core piece of any specific investigation. So this is where a specific instance of a playbook can be run for this particular incident. As you can see, this is basically a threat hunting operation using Demisto and RiskIQ. So this playbook is what is key for this particular incident to be investigated and resolved. And let me just go through the different steps of this playbook. So as soon as the playbook got triggered, basically it fetches information from ProtectWise. So this incident that you see, kill chain progression exploit to beacon, is an incident coming from ProtectWise, which is again a different product altogether. And this playbook is designed in such a way that once those incident is captured, we capture the hashes and the IP address from the ProtectWise incident. So, and there are two different actions, as you see, going in parallel in this playbook. So we extract the hashes from the observation, check the reputation of the hashes, and if there are any malicious hashes found, we send an email to analyst. Sorry, if there are any malicious hashes found, it actually blocks in carbon black here. So in this case, there were no hashes, malicious hashes found, so it just sent an email to analyst, but otherwise it would have blocked in carbon black. Similarly, if you see passive total IP reputation check, so this is nothing but once the IPs are extracted, we are using passive total API from RiskIQ to do a quick check on the reputation. And if there are any malicious IPs found, we are blocking it in the Palo Alto firewall. And then doing another threat hunting operation. Maybe you want to check whether that particular IP that got blocked was part of any other active connections, maybe on an SIM, for instance. And then we have a capability to send an email to analyst, and at the end we can actually get a human component into the playbook so that the analyst provides his or her feedback and mark it as complete. So the core piece of what I wanted to really emphasize here is three different actions are taking place in parallel. We are also opening Jira ticket if the threat severity is kind of low. So again, this is automated. It runs in the background. Analysts need not spend time on this, but if they want to visualize, they're more than welcome, and Demisto does provide this capability. And next is the evidence board. So evidence board is a place where in the war room, for instance, if we see any core piece of evidence, Demisto provides capability to quickly take action. We can mark it as evidence, mark it as a note. We can view it as an artifact attached to a task or download it. So this common repository, as we like to call, where analysts can perform investigation, they can also call different users into Demisto by @ command. So I can pull other analysts for help right into this war room for this particular investigation. And but at the same time, I can actually mark it as evidence right here. And say this is an evidence, and this will basically show up on the evidence board for this particular investigation. So this is all one-click thing, but at the end of the day, makes it a quick fact check post-incident investigation of what were the evidences found, and also becomes a good learning repository for future reference. A thing that I forgot to mention in the war room itself is, if you see, there are red underlines, and then you have also that reputation located right here. Suspicious, none, and 16 history. So all this is coming from the DBOT, which is the Demisto's machine learning algorithm running at the background. So the algorithm quickly checks for all the indicators and their reputation, and it represents right here in the war room for quick viewing. The fifth step of the investigation, again an optional one, is to view the kill chain progression event, if at all they were related incidents for this particular incident. So we provide a capability to go 30 days before the incident and 30 days after the incident and see if at all there is any other incidents that happened which were kind of similar to this incidents based on different fields. So if you see this July 7th and this September 5th, so this particular incident, if I click on this, this is the incident, and it shows how likely or the likely, I mean, how similar are they, and when did they occur in this 30-day before and after a time range. And you can actually set the similarity and make changes based on your needs. And last but not the least, we have this canvas. So let me pull up a good canvas so that I can see. So Canvas is something we just launched in our 4.0, which is in beta at this point. So Canvas is a quick visualization of an attack in progression. So clicking on Canvas for a particular incident brings me to this page which shows incidents and indicators, and DBOT makes different suggestions. So in short, what's happening here is DBOT, which is Demisto's machine learning algorithms, makes suggestions for all the different indicators pertaining or likely similar to this particular incidents. So what I do is I just drag and drop onto this screen, and it actually auto aligns if at all there were any similarity. So if you see, there are 3 emails, which is basically a phishing campaign that I generated for demo purpose. And all these phishing campaign had this particular link, which is taking me to a particular file hash, which is malicious. So, and these are linked in a way, kind of visually representing that this is how the attack is basically progressing. So this is in beta, so we really encourage you to go to Demisto and download the 4.2 community edition, play around with it, and provide your feedback as well. So that's pretty much about the incident investigation.
We had a question asking about the reporting features. If you could show how to mark something as evidence, and then as well as how to build a report within Demisto.
Yeah. So building reporting capability is right present on the landing page, the home page. So we have this reporting capability, and it's pretty easy, I would say, as compared to others, because the reason is we provide widgets and sorry, we provide widgets right here, as you can see, and allow analysts to pick and choose the widgets and quickly add it to the report. So this is the report page, and this is the widgets that I just spoke about. So widgets are of different categories: incidents, indicators, messages, script systems, and so on and so forth.
You can also make your own.
So. Exactly. So there's a whole bunch of customization. If you want to build your own, you can just copy this and edit one which is system default, and you can build your own as well. And you can actually schedule this report to be emailed to different analysts and SOC managers. You can basically also provide the recipients here. PDF and doc is what the format that we support as of today. You can do it portrait or landscape, set the paper size if you would like to take a printout, and pretty much do a quick preview of this that will basically show you how it looks in the form of PDF in this case. So again, this is just for the demo sake, but in short, the platform really provides great scope for creativity. So, and as per your needs, it's pretty flexible to generate reports. And as you can see, the ones which we already have it in the system, you can just click run now, it will run and show it the report for download, and you can also schedule it as a job.
Cool. On a similar widget note, this person has mentioned that they've heard about our custom dashboards and wanted to take a look at how to build one, as well as the different formats you can create within a single widget.
Sure. So this is the dashboard page, and one other thing that I also wanted to mention, in the 4.0 we launched capability to share dashboards. So if you see this dashboard was shared by Anilima. It was not created by me at all. So many times in a typical SOC, somebody creates a dashboard and needs to really share it real quick for quick viewability across the board. So that's something we just added in 4.2. Having said that, adding a dashboard is really easy. I go here and click on add new dashboards, and the widget library is common across dashboards and reports. So it's pretty much the same as you saw in the reporting section. So we do have custom capability, but we also ship with built-in library features, and it's just a click of the mouse, and I get this dashboards into place, and I just save it. So I don't at this point. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, yeah, cool. And then we have a more general question. Oh, well, we have one more before that. So how can we expand the actions on that threat flow?
Okay, so we can actually expand. So that really depends on the use case, I would say, but let me go back to the playbooks real quick. So this is where, let me take an example of the playbook that I just demoed. So I can go ahead and edit any one of these playbooks. So this was a threat hunting operations using risk IQ's passive total. And so the question, I guess, is to really understand how can analysts build on actions based on the threat flow here. So I go here and click on the task library. And again, there is a suggestion made by the bot for this particular playbook based on all the actions taken by analysts in the past. We just run it before, but also it's pretty intuitive in the sense you go to library and pick one of the manual tasks or one of the automations. Apart from the bot suggestion, we have custom scripts. I can go and probably say close investigation, clear context. So these are all the actions that analysts do it manually as of today. So Demisto has provided this library, we call it task library, and tasks are nothing but building blocks of a playbook. So we can just go ahead and add it. So it's simple. So for instance, I just mentioned threat hunt the IP. So I go here and probably I want to do it using, I want to search on ArcSight Logger. So I just go here and click add here and click OK. It will show up here. And I can actually just link those two. So it's as simple as that. So the answer is yes, we can actually build on, expand on the actions.
Great, thank you, Pramuk. And so a more general question here is, what is the difference between Demisto and JASK?
Sure, it's really two different worlds. So JASK is the next generation security information event management platform, whereas Demisto is a SOAR platform. So SOAR is nothing but security orchestration, automation, and response. So in short, we start where actually JASK ends. So as you see on the screen, so we have a powerful integration with JASK. So JASK, being an SIEM, provides us with insights, entities, signals, and so on and so forth. So Demisto gets those insights and signals, which are nothing but alerts, and helps the analyst to perform actions in terms of orchestrating across different point products.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. I hope that answered that question. And with that, I think we're ready to wrap up if there are no other questions. Thank you, everybody. We'll give you back 20 minutes of your day. Thank you for listening and for your attention, and of course, all your great questions. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll be getting an email from me with the product demo recording, as well as links to other collateral and a link to all the slides as well. So have a wonderful day. We look forward to hearing from you in the future, and we'll reach out if you guys have any other questions as well. All right, with that, have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks all.